Are you alright, Doobie?
Oh,
Yeah,
this is
cool.
being recorded now.
How are you guys?
At least it tells all of us. That's,
You are, yeah. You had a very strange. You were like,
Yeah, he's probably
like,
sitting up there, like looking at everyone, like, what?
I was just looking at my screens thinking, at this angle, my head is actually square.
wham.
Wham!
Although I wasn't thinking wham, but I think was thinking, so whatever, Kaz.
Oh, mate. That was jokes.
Anyways, guys, how has life been in lockdown?
Different, man. I think everyone's gonna agree with that.
I love it.
I'm having a good time. Like,
Oh,
for the
that
most
was
part.
so great.
What, you sound depressed. Is that why the dark, the curtains dark?
Yeah, I don't live in the light anymore.
You
I don't
look
live
like
in the
you're
light.
in a cave.
I
Yeah.
am. I'm in a cave.
At home, take the hat off. At home. Like, you're in your own room.
You can't say that without smoking,
It would be really crazy if he just opened Scott's curtain and he's just in the middle of in the Middle East somewhere.
Oh,
I'm giving my location away.
Was it the guy? Was it from Homeland where the guy got captured by terrorists and he turns out to be Muslim or something?
Yeah.
Yeah, I watched the first few. Did I watch that with you, Martin?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, I remember watching the first few episodes. It was mad. Yeah,
Oh,
but that's shit. Has anyone watched Money Heist here?
I started it.
Oh man,
I haven't. I got to season 2, but I haven't gone any further yet.
Yeah, no, I've binge watched that over the last few weeks. To be fair, last month.
Then
Are you watching it in Spanish or are you watching it in English?
Oh, Spanish. I can't watch things in dub, man. It's just
it's so terrible in English. It's very terrible in English.
Yeah.
Or is
Martin
this
will probably have to watch it in
live
dub.
action recorded thing? Or
What?
is it like a actually recorded thing? Was it animated? What?
No, it's an actual show, so it's not
Yeah.
anime. The actual show.
Yeah. I've tried watching dub stuff like that. It's just terrible because it just looks like terrible lip syncing.
Yeah.
It always has to be in the original. I think, what was it? Like, there was like some Italian Netflix show I watched. It was in the same thing, but yeah, can't do it.
Yeah.
It just looks like, those old school kung fu movies where it's obviously filmed in Chinese or whatever, and then they've just got an English voiceover and it just looks terrible. That's what it reminds me of.
Like their mouth will stop moving, but then they'll still be speaking
Yeah.
to finish off their sentence.
Hey, those films were good though. Back in the day when you was a kid though. Not now.
Yeah, they were good. They were good.
They were good.
It makes you realize, like, Jackie Chan is old. Like, been around for
about, man. He's been about. I didn't even know until quite a few years after seeing him in lots of movies that in most parts of Asia, he's not even known for his acting. It's all by his singing. He's like a much bigger singer than anything else over there.
Yeah, he's got.
What?
I've listened to one of his songs.
He's very big.
Yeah, he is big. He done the Mulan song. I can't remember which song in Mulan he did, but he sang that one like ages ago. And I remember seeing it on YouTube when YouTube was first a thing. And yeah, he's a really good singer.
But I had no idea. This guy does his own stunts, and he's like, he's singing.
He's good. He's very good, man. Oh, speaking of shows, I don't know if anyone watched it. The Midnight Gospel. After Sean recommended, I watched it. That is a different show.
Good.
You watched it?
No, I'm asking. Like, it was good.
Oh, it was really good. It's basically a podcast that's animated, basically. So the entire thing is just two people like talking, and they go through an adventure based on what they're talking about. And most of the time, what's on screen is completely irrelevant to the podcast that they're talking about. And every now and again, it comes and joins in, and it's just done in such a unique way that I've never really seen anything else like it. And it's really well done, and they touch on a lot of like really deep subjects, but they do it in such a creative and fun way that you're like, oh, this is kind of scary, but at the same time, I'm interested in what they have to say. It's really well done.
So it's sort of like storytelling kind of thing.
Yeah. Well, I think what you need to do is watch the first episode, and then you'll know from that first episode if that's something you like or not. Because I imagine a lot of people won't like it because it's not a show. You know what I mean? There's a kind of an overarching story over the first season, but you don't really watch it for that. You watch it just for the. I don't exactly get experts every episode to watch it. I mean, they don't get experts to talk about their subjects each time, but they do get people who have either strong opinions or they're knowledgeable in the area, and you just hear what they have to say. You're like, they're making a lot of sense. I've never really thought about it like that. And they explore some really interesting subjects that you've never even thought about, like the way that magic is perceived as like kind of it's more of a lifestyle than like a sort of tricks in the bag and a magician sort of thing. And I wonder,
like real life magic.
Yeah, but like it's very difficult to explain.
I think I might watch that one then, because the book I'm currently reading, like pretty much touches on. So I've been like reading so much, but I don't read like, you know, Harry Potter and stuff. Yeah, don't read that stuff.
Yeah,
I read things where I actually learn. So the book I've been reading is just been about like philosophy and like magic and all of those type of things, and alchemy and that. And how like magic and all them things are more of a way of life for people than what people think as like tricks and voodoo and all of that crazy stuff, how it's actually a way of life. So I might watch that.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Have you finished that book? What's the book called?
No, I haven't finished. I've been listening audiobook. I've been listening to the Kabbalion, which is 3 books in one about different types of philosophy.
Yeah.
Then I was reading, oh my God, I can't remember what it's called, but it was an alchemy book. And I've got another book that has pictures in it, because if I don't have pictures, I realize I'm losing interest really quickly. So
yeah.
it's like a timeline. It's like a timeline book. So it's got loads of writing, but it's got pictures every so often of like the timeline of philosophy and like religion, philosophy, magic, all of that stuff up to now. So witchcraft as well, about Wicca and stuff like that. It's crazy.
Yeah, man, that stuff is more real than you think it is, isn't it? I've been reading some books as well.
You been reading? You read? Yeah,
I've been reading, man. Something that I'd never do.
We've all got time to do things we don't do.
Is it the original Pokemon?
Yeah, the very first Pokemon series in a book format. It's the same as Cassie, really. I've been reading a philosophy book, and it's called, where is it? It's called The Courage to be Disliked. But it's not really like what the title says it is. It's not really about being disliked. It's basically written in a format where this philosopher is being challenged by a like troubled individual, and he's like approached him to hopefully come out with a way that he can like better his life. And the philosopher is basically telling him, like, in order to better your life, you need to let go of the past and stop thinking that your past like happenings in your life has made you who you are now. And he's like, well, it's impossible to say that, because my past experience has made me into who I am. But then he goes into like different subjects and says, like, some people who are in like despair or like feel like they're like in a bad situation will blame their past like upbringings, for example, like their parents or whoever, and they'll blame that situation to be like, oh, I'm like this, I'm socially distanced from people because of how I was brought up. I was never shown love. But in fact, they're using that as an excuse to not learn how to like have proper relationships with people and all that kind of stuff. So it's quite interesting, to be honest.
But is it an excuse?
Yeah, well, this is exactly what the book's about. Like, it's about the guy challenging this guy's like philosophy and the way he thinks, because he's saying like, oh, it's impossible for people to like completely change. This person who's challenging the philosopher, he's like, oh, it's impossible for people to change. Like, once someone is some type of way, like once they're a person, a fully grown person, they will be able to change like aspects of their life, but they won't be able to change ultimately like who they are as a person. And this guy's saying, well, no, like you can. And the books, I haven't finished the book yet, so I don't really fully understand it yet, but it's just going into that kind of thing.
Sounds good.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
I agree, because obviously I don't think it's a good excuse, but you can't refute something that's happened. Because I think my sister works with like young kids, and she's like, oh, the first 7 years of your life, that's like pretty much
Defines your character, innit?
Yeah, it just dictates your character. It doesn't mean that's the be all and end all, because you can obviously learn or just like move on from these things, but it does take a big toll on the rest of your life.
Yeah,
I think it'd be too quick to say, it's too quick to be like, just get over it, basically. But I do see me there, because obviously you do have people on both sides who had really good relationships with people, and they have got really bad ones, and you see both results out of those. So it definitely is subject to change into the individual. Because I don't like it, especially in our sort of generation, because people are so accepting and tolerant of things. Because which they should be, because like obviously people feel more welcomed when things like that. But I feel like it's easy for people to say, "Oh, because of this, I have this condition, and that's it. I'm not going to try and work with it. Like that's the reason for the way I'm like now, and I'm not going to do anything about
100%.
it."
Don't at me. I'm joking.
We've gone. I think we've gone too far the other way. People we used to be that people just didn't really care about what you are or who you feel or what you want to do, and now we've gone to the opposite end where it's like anything you feel now is validate because you feel that way. And I'm like, no, we kind of have to rein it back a bit. You know what I mean? Need the balance in the middle. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm at you, Cassie. Oh, don't hug hugs.
I'm working on learning to hug people. Jesus.
I know you're trying.
I'm trying my hardest.
Yeah. So that's basically what I've been doing. Well, I say I've been reading a lot. I try to like read every night, but sometimes you're hooked onto a Netflix show, or you're playing too many games, or you're on your phone too much that you kind of don't do it.
Yeah,
but I
try to get all the productive things done in the early part of the day, because once nighttime comes, I've tried it. I was like, I do like an hour later on. It never happens.
I'm exactly the same. Like, I've been telling myself, like, if you're going to do anything remotely productive, I'm going to play the piano, draw, read, work out, it has to be done in the morning before you've done any fun stuff, or else you just won't get back to it. Like, or get sucked into Breath of the Wild or something like that. And
I'm not picking that game up again.
You're never leaving. You're not getting out.
That's true, man. Have you guys been like keeping to like a workout resume? I don't know, because I know in the group, Tubi and maybe Martin and Adrian, I don't know, Cass, about you, but before lockdown, I know Tubi, you went to the gym a lot, and then now we're in lockdown. Cass, I know you've been sticking to like a workout thing, haven't you?
I mean, sticking is an understatement, because I started really strong, and I've just like completely hit rock bottom. But to be fair, from Monday I'm back on it. I've started my intermittent fasting again, and I've changed my what I'm eating again. Because I play so much games, I realize I'm not eating properly, so I'm just like cooking first thing in the morning as much as I can, so that I know there's food there instead of snacking. And if I'm gonna snack now, I'm just eating fruit or like raisins or just stuff like that. I mean, whatever, nuts, fruits and nuts.
Yeah, I've been really strict with what I've been eating, because I think now I'm working out 2 or 3 times a week minimum. When obviously before, like, my aim is to do 6 times a week and then just like chill out on Sunday, no matter how small that workout is. But yeah, now there'll be times where I wake up at 9:30 and I go, okay, now I have to just go straight to work. Then everything just goes, not leave the house, but like get straight onto my computer, and then everything just goes straight out the window.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just need, the only thing that's actually keeping me going is that the fact that some of my friends are doing all this gym stuff more than they ever had before. So it's like I'm falling behind. Like, some of my running partners is like doing 5K and so much quicker than I can do it. So I need to, like, running once a week only because of that reason, because I don't want to be on the bottom of the leaderboard anymore.
Listen, that's pretty much the only reason why I've kept this 5K Couch to 5K app that I've been following. The only reason that I've been on it for 7 weeks or 6 weeks. I made 6 weeks of progress, and I've been doing it for 7 weeks. I took 1 week out. So on Monday we start week 7. And the only reason I've been doing this so long is because because Thompson's in front of me. and he's been a week in front for a long time now, and I'm like, if Thompson could do it, I could do it too. I don't care. I ain't no bitch. I keep going.
So how does that work,
Right.
Adrian, with the app where you just see how
you know,
quick they've done 5K?
No, so the app really, it's only for training you basically. So you run 3 times a week, and I don't know. I think they're called guided runs. I don't know if that's the official term, but so basically you start the app. They give you some talk in the beginning, tell you about what's going to be in today's run. Then you go for your 5-minute warm-up walk, and then they talk you through the runs for that day. So like on week 1, I remember when it started as well. It was like week 1, day 1 is like jog for 60 seconds, then take a 90-second break, then jog for 60 seconds, a 90-second break. And I was like, I can't run for 60 seconds. Like, what is it for?
Yeah.
By the third 60 seconds, I was like, what's going on? You know,
It's mad, isn't it?
I used to swim. Like, I used to swim every week, you know, day in, day out, 30 laps, back to back, easy. Now I was doing 60 seconds, and I was like, what's that? My chest is tight. What's going on? So then,
it's crazy, isn't it?
Yeah. So then, if you do it 3 times a week, and with each day, it's a little bit harder than the last day. But there was like a really big spike not last Friday, but the Friday before. Like previously, the longest it asked you to run was like, I think 12 minutes, and I was like, and at the end I was like, oh, that was all right, you know, I'm not too tired. And the next following week is like, yeah, cool, 20-minute run, and I was like, no, I can't do it. Literally, and then it's obviously I feel like the app is good, but it could be great. I feel like it's missing a lot of key points, and which makes me think they're not quite as serious as they make out to be. So like, in terms of like guiding you through the runs and telling you this is what you need to do, now slow down, now speed up, you know, you got 5 minutes left in this run, keep going, 60 seconds left, you know, just final push, that's all great. I think that's done really well. But there's nothing about stretching in anywhere on the app. It didn't say anything about stretching. And I learned that the hard way after the first week. I didn't do any stretching. I was like, why does everything hurt? And I was like, I don't get it. And that's when I realized, I was like, oh, I've actually not been stretching. So I'll do that on my own accord now. But I really think that should be something, if you want to be a serious, because the app is all about starting from, you know, someone who can't run at all to getting running 5K. I mean, stretching is such an important part. I don't know, you can't do it without it, really. So that aspect is really good. The app's a bit buggy in sections here and there, but those are all like quite nitpicks. But in general, it's quite good, because like, if you told me when I started this 6 weeks ago that I would be running for 25 minutes, I'd be like, no, I don't think so. That's a bit silly. Yeah. But with each week, it does gradually build up to, you're like, now, like, I finish and I'm like, you know, after less than 2 minutes, I'm ready to run again. I was like, oh, right, my fitness is, I can generally see it. It's actually a lot better.
I think that's the best thing about working out. Not any, like, it's almost better than the progress, even though it kind of is a progress. Just the fact that I used to be able to do this, and now I can like triple it or double it or whatever. It's like, it's ages ago, but when I first started working out back in year 10, I could only do 2 push-ups. And that's a massive
mate,
difference.
you've come far then. Oh, mate. Martin, what about you? I've seen you been doing runs and all that.
I need to find a way to keep myself accountable, really, because I think the first week or so, I was very proactive and just active in general. And every passing day, it's like, I can do it tomorrow. And now that I'm aware of how much time I've got, it's always, I can do it tomorrow. And then there are some days where I'll wake up in a good mood, and then I'll run, do all my shit, and then I feel good. And other days I'm just like, can't be off.
Yeah,
I hear that. That's me pretty much every
That's basically the same as me, you know.
You need a competition, man. The competition is what keeps me going. Because then I'm like, because then when I meet Thompson next, I want to be like, yeah, I finished the 5K too, not the, oh, he finished, and I was like, oh, you got some flaws, but you just weren't good enough. No, hell no.
Are you gonna keep after it's all done?
I doubt it, honestly. I don't enjoy running. I really don't enjoy running.
From the last 5 minutes, you've just been talking about all the benefits and how good it is.
Yeah, but through this entire time, like even now, tomorrow is Monday, so I know I'm already. It's that you know when it's Sunday and you got work the next day, and you actually don't mind your job, but just the thought of going to work, you know, I don't want to do that. That's how I feel about running.
We all know
Like,
that.
At the end of it, I'm like,
it's
oh,
not
I'm
that
happy I did it.
at all.
But I don't enjoy it. It's not. I don't enjoy being tired. You know what I mean? I think what I enjoy. I enjoy telling people that I've done it because it's good to brag. And,
It's good to brag.
And I enjoy the fact that, you know, come zombie apocalypse, I can run to 25 minutes if I need to. You know what I mean?
Well, it depends on what zombie though, because if it's I Am Legend or World War Z, doesn't matter how
Everyone's
far
done.
you run, doesn't
Everyone's
matter if
done.
you're Mo Farah or Usain Bolt, you're getting deaded off. If it's Walking Dead,
you'll be fine. You'll be fine.
You can walk fast enough.
I don't even really play with the idea of making a plan in a World War Z kind of situation because it's just a lot less realistic to survive. Really.
Oh my gosh.
You have to be isolated before anything even happens for you to stand a chance. And then even then.
And if it's Attack on Titan situation, I'm just like, just kill me now. There's no way.
Just kill me now. Wasn't it in World War Z that they literally transformed from human to that zombie in like 7 seconds or something?
Yeah.
Yeah, that is mad. Imagine that. You get like a scratch on you and that's it. You're done in 7 seconds. You're a zombie.
And then it's like they've got some weird hive mind system going on in World War Z, or they're all just that hungry and dumb that they're the scene where they piled up on top of each other.
Oh yeah, to make a wall.
Down a helicopter or a wall.
Yeah, that scene is always stuck in my head. That's why I'm like, well, what do you do?
Literally.
What do you do? Oh,
it's like, might as well just find like a bunch of friends, like, guys, let's just run into each other head first and see who dies first, because I'm not going out that way.
You know, in I Am Legend, the Will Smith one, how long was he by himself for with his dog? I can't remember if they said that, like how long he was left alone for.
I thought it was just a few months, wasn't it? Like 8 to 6.
Yeah, it could have been. I don't know. Because I was thinking, like, if you were in that situation, like you were literally the only living human for like that's all you know, and the only thing you have to talk to is your dog. Do you think you'd be able to do that as well as what he was doing?
I would not mind the peace and quiet serenity. But I swear to God, that would be perfect. Literally, the peace and quiet.
Dude, how long do you think you'd be able to go on like that? Do you think you'd be able to
For a really long time. I am so happy to sit in silence. Yeah. I don't even have to be silent. Like, because it's not, at the end of the day, around me, there's still noise, but I would just be so happy to be by myself. Serenity. That's it. For a long time, I think I could do that. I wouldn't be bothered.
I don't know, man.
No way.
Me, no, this is coming from, this is personally, isn't it? Just me, easily.
Yeah, but there's literally no one to interact with, like, not even online. There's no.
Yeah, but then no
nothing.
one's upsetting me. No one's like, I'm not getting no negative emotions either because I like to be alone.
Okay.
You just pet your dog every so often. Even maybe after a few months, the dog will piss me off. Like, what the fuck?
He was like, let's go outside.
You're really, really alone.
Huh?
Once the dog goes, you're gonna be on your own, like on your own.
Of course.
Some houseplants.
You can be like Michelle and just get some zombies, cut their arms off, cut their jaw out. Like,
I forgot about her.
Oh man, Michelle.
Let's not talk about that show, innit? Because you man are gonna piss me off.
Literally, it's only me and Martin that stuck to it, man. And I think Sean as well. I think he stuck to it.
It's just too long at this point. I'm getting tired of these 45-minute shows. It's more of a commitment than enjoyment at this point. It's like very few shows like that like actually sit down and think like, oh, I'm actually enjoying the whole.
Actually good all the way through. Yeah, like every episode has something that just grips you. If not, then just long.
Like, you got to that point with Game of Thrones as well. It's like, I'm watching this now because I just want to know how it ends. I'm not actually enjoying watching the show. But when it gets to that point for me, I'll just drop it. Same thing happened with Suits. Like,
that happened with Vikings. I tried to watch Vikings. I got quite away, and then I was just like, oh, this is just, I'm not enjoying it anymore. I'm not enjoying it.
Yeah, and especially when it gets to the point where it's like, you could have ended this story a long time ago. But obviously, you know, your business, you want to make money, so you're going to keep going. But as someone who enjoys a story, I do like when the story ends. Like, some people are like, oh, I'm so sad that my favorite anime, my favorite this ended. sometimes things just need to end.
Wait, what's going on with Martin?
I don't know. We always think that's. We always. I was surprised.
It looks like it just.
What are you skanking for?
I've got my windows open. There's like.
It's not a rave. That slipper as well.
Oh my
Forgot
gosh,
about
he's ready to
that.
whack
Why are you
that.
scared? It's not a rain.
Oh gosh.
What a
Oh, man, one of
ball.
the
Oh
top
my
3
God.
sayings in uni, man. Oh, jeez.
Guys, it has actually been officially 2 months since we've all seen each other.
What, 2 months?
A couple of days ago.
Yeah.
mate.
Yeah.
What, 2 months since your
has
birthday?
been. Yeah, we went out on
Oh,
the.
geez.
When did we go? We went out on the 14th. Yeah.
Flip, man. So 2 months ago, we were all in London thinking that the world is all dandy,
We were having the time of our life.
trying to escape that
No,
room.
we knew it wasn't dandy, but we were still having the time of our life.
Yeah,
I'll
I
never
literally
forget.
just came back from New York where they were panicking.
Yeah, I was about to say that.
And-
Like,
And me and my
oh,
manager
man.
was just like, what's happening? Like, people in airports were freaking out. And I was like, we chose the wrong time to come on this business trip. But
man.
and I think if it was a couple days later, we would have been stuck in
New
America.
York.
Because
Yeah.
it stopped. The day before, or basically 2 days after we left, that's when they like cut everything. They're like, UK, you're not allowed here anymore. Like all that stuff was wouldn't be.
No, UK was still allowed to fly there for a while. Everyone else was cut out except for the UK.
I can't remember when it was, but it was just like it was very
Got lucky.
peak timing. Got lucky.
So lucky, mate.
Yeah, I was lucky, man.
Oh.
Still had fun though. Still went to lots of fancy rooftop bars. Like obviously everywhere was empty because everyone was scared about coronavirus. So no queues to get in anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Perks are perks.
To walk around in Central Park for a bit.
Yeah, even that weekend for your birthday, Cass, like normally when I'm driving to London, it's just like loads of traffic, like especially when I get into London, but the roads were clear. There was literally like no one about.
I knew something was down when like 18 of us went to Nando's and got sat
straight away. Yeah.
Like, we didn't have to wait. They had a table straight away. So, you know.
Oh man. At that point,
If I
none
knew
of
that
us
was the
would even
last
thought
time,
this was
I
going to
would have.
happen.
Yeah,
If
I
I
was
knew
talking
that was
to
the
my brother a
last
couple
time
of
I
days ago.
ate Nando's, dude, I would have ate a lot of Nando's.
I'm not saying we wouldn't have gone to Nando's. It was like if it's just going to be the last supper for how long? We need to like be throwing cash everywhere.
I would have
Hmm?
I would have eaten a lot more if I'd known I'm going Nando's for a while.
Honestly,
True, man.
should have taken a
Went to
picture.
Aspen's,
All of
man.
that.
Should make a casino.
Taking a picture, selfie with your food. Oh man.
I feel like there's been so many people that's been like, as soon as lockdown's over, I can't wait to go Nando's. I didn't want to go Nando's.
Yeah, I've been.
Do you know
seeing
why?
most as
Because
That's the first one.
I think it's because Nando's is so accessible to us, and Nando's is quite cheap for what you get. That it's one of those things where even like on your break or you just wanted something outside that's not as junk, so like McDonald's and KFC, Nando's isn't as junky, so it's still good food in that sense, but
I'll say it's one step above.
I'm just thinking, when I go out,
when I'm going to restaurants after all this over, I'm hitting like steak places, like just proper amazing stuff.
Our generation.
What's it called? The steak company, but you kind of have to do the steak yourself, but it's so good there.
I don't think I've ever been there, you know.
don't leave it there. Keep it with you,
Very
and
good
I'll do it. Okay? All right.
Yeah, I need to go there. I need
Hungry.
to go there.
Like
So what's the
a
first place that you want to go to, Adrian, after? What's the first restaurant you want to go to? Do you have one in mind, or are you just like, why does everyone think Nando's?
No, I mean, I'm not really in the mindset for going out yet because I had to kind of reevaluate my life, having been locked in lockdown with no income. So I had to, my mind has no longer been, oh, you know, I could go for somewhere nice and spend some money. And I've been like,
No
how
more
do I
dates.
stay alive for the foreseeable future? Is what I was thinking.
So what's the situation with you? What's going on with like work? And
Nothing. You know, I mean, I'm in the hospitality industry, which realistically won't get open until like October.
Yeah.
So So I start the old CV, and I'm back to engineering as soon as I can get all my qualifications and stuff back up to scratch. Yeah.
Martin just put in the chat, remove your hat, Scott.
Do you know the funniest thing is, now
I miss the barbers,
saying
man.
remove your hat, I keep thinking that Scott's going to remove his hat and all this hair is just going to come down.
Just locks of hair falling out of my hat.
Or there's no hair. Maybe he's just...
Yeah, I've shaved it off. You guys aren't ready to see this head.
Do you know what, that
I don't think you're ready to see your head.
Oh, man, I'm definitely not.
I would really like to see that, because did anyone used to watch Ed, Edd n Eddy?
Yeah.
Do you remember the character Kevin? And the one time he took off his hat, and everyone was just shocked, and he didn't say anything, and he never put on screen what was on his head. And so literally to this day, I'm thinking to myself, what on earth was on his head? Because he couldn't have been that deep if he was bald. There's other bald characters who have, like, well, Eddie's got 3 strands of hair on his head.
So what's wrong with being bald? What do you mean?
Oh, I forgot you were there. Whoops. Yeah, that's something that's really bothered me from my childhood. What is under Kevin's head? Hair.
Laying in your bed at night, like.
It's like the same thing with Naruto with Kakashi and his mask.
I swear you see that in the end.
Yeah, I think they did, but I remember for years everyone was like, "What's Kakashi's face like?" Blah 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 blah. And there was loads of people that's like drawing all sorts of nonsense online and posting it, making them look like a girl underneath and all that kind of stuff. Or he had like a massive scar. I think there was a filler episode where Naruto, Sasuke, and Sakura were like picturing what he's got underneath it.
I think it's funny when shows actually feed into like fan like
suspicions. Yeah, it's quite funny.
So, I was going to talk about One Piece, but I realized no one watches it, so
I'm not gonna lie to you, Adrian. I do wish I kept up with it, because it does. There's only one reason it could be around for this long, because it is actually as good as you say it is. But then where I place my my value in anime now is just like One Piece is not. It hasn't got it. It hasn't got
okay, man. Listen, when it finishes, I've been saying it for a long time now. When it finishes, it's going to be the greatest anime of all time. No competition. Like, none.
Really?
Bar none. There's only a handful of animes that have gone on as long as this, and the ones that have not crafted such an excellent story over like more than a decade. It's pure brilliance. I mean, the show will probably finish in another maybe like somewhere between 8 to 10 years, somewhere around there.
Every time you say that, I can't believe that, you know. What started first, One Piece or Naruto?
It's going to take you that long to finish it. Like, surely at that point you run into Kingdom Hearts problems, like, it's just getting convoluted. But I can't talk because I don't watch it anymore. I will say it is good. And of all the long-running animes, obviously it's the best. Like Dragon Ball Z, I mean, all the stuff that was good about it it's been overtaken now by stuff with better action. So it's not really...
Has One Piece ever taken like a break, or has it literally consistently come out week by week?
I mean, it's like any other anime. Like, because imagine that there's 52 weeks in a year, then you take out breaks for holidays, and then you take out breaks every now and again for disruption, like what we have now. So right now they're not airing. So you get something like maybe like somewhere between 45 and 47 episodes a year. So imagine each of those episodes are 20 minutes long, but the first like 2.5 minutes are like a recap, and then the last minute and a half is like the outro. So the actual amount of time of the anime is actually quite short. So if you then think about you have that many episodes in a year, then you can kind of guess how much longer there is left in the anime. And it's just so brilliant, because there are so many moments that while I was catching up, I was watching and I was like, okay, well, that was a complete waste of my time. Why did you even introduce that character in the first place? And you come back 5 years later. He's been off screen for 5 years. 5 years in real time in the world.
Watched it week by week, 5 years kind of thing.
Yeah. So imagine 2015, you see this guy and you're like, you know, he's just a random guy in this episode, you know, he didn't even need any screen time really. And then you come back in 2020 and you're like, oh crap, you've been doing things. You are an important character, but he's been doing his own thing, crafting it off screen, And then when you hear about it, you're like, oh, that's why Batman. Oh, that's why Batman. So he's actually. It's crazy, absolutely. And that kind of storytelling is
Like,
just
the plot.
It's just brilliant. It's just utterly brilliant.
Yeah,
And
I have to give the show some props for that, because even in the point where I watched up to, there was a lot of that going on. Like the waste when you see in the first episode where Luffy has to save him from the pirates. Like you see him, I don't know how long into it.
Oh, when he comes back, oh my!
He comes back and he's tall and he's wham and he's got all the special abilities now. That
it's
not even special abilities, like just the fact that he hasn't got any powers, so he's just trained up. So he's got all the
you know what I mean. That's the thing in the One Piece universe, unlike places like Dragon Ball Z, where like if you're not an alien or a Saiyan or one of them, then
if you're not Goku, you're a sideman, basically.
Yeah, you know what I mean. It's not like because you remember like early Dragon Ball, there was like Krillin, there was Yamcha and Tien, and all these men were like putting up fights. It was important. You know, fast forward to Dragon Ball Z, they're just there for show to make conversations. You know what I mean? They're not important to the story at all. Whereas One Piece will take a character who's like, oh, listen, he's useless now, and and because of the way that the universe is built, you can actually take that character, you know, push them off screen for 5-6 years, bring them back, and then when they're as powerful as another character, you're like, oh, that makes sense because he spent all this time doing this training, and it's just the skeleton. I always wonder how in what detail the entire story has been planned, because it's very clear to me that the entire story has been planned start to finish. But I'm guessing that the creator has done like a skeleton of how he wants everything to go, and then as he goes on, he then does the details. But the skeleton is just, it's just done so well. You know, it's not perfect.
Yeah, but then even the fact that it's not perfect, but it's still this good is good enough. Because for something to be that long and have this overarching story that actually works still is amazing. Because something like Attack on Titan, you can tell. I'm obviously not going to put any spoilers out, but you can tell from start to finish. If they end on the next season, that would make sense. You can really imagine that they've known the outcome right from the start, because from how they plan stuff. But I don't know how you could possibly know the start to finish of One Piece when I swear it's almost 1,000 episodes, where it is over 1,000 episodes now.
Yeah, we're at 900. Let me actually bring this up. Actually, I have this tab open.
900.
We are on 929 episodes. That's where we are at the moment.
Why?
And we are just about, in terms of story, we're just over halfway. Just over.
Man, you and Daniel keep saying that. How do you know that it's halfway? They might speed up the pacing.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. In terms of the story, we're just over halfway. But in terms of how long it takes to get to the end, that's just up to the writers themselves. You know what I mean?
Fair enough.
But
how much of that is filler, Adrian?
Very small amounts, because this is the thing.
You would think
that's really good, you know.
Come back later.
That's the thing, because if you go back 5 years and watch some episodes in that year, you'll be like, that was a filler, complete and utter waste of my time. And then you figure out later on that all those characters were important and they were just doing something that you didn't understand, so it felt like filler. So it's just, and it does have, it doesn't have no filler at all. There are episodes when, you just finished a big fight and, you can't just jump into the next arc straight away. So you have a little bit in between. But what One Piece does, instead of giving you filler, it goes, okay, you've been following Luffy and his, you've been following Luffy and his gang for the last, 7, or maybe 9, 10 weeks. Take a break and go see what was happening when we weren't watching them. And you go see something else off screen. And that isn't always interesting there and then, but it always contributes to something later on. And that is, for me, is how you do filler. There's no point spending all the time creating this big universe with all these characters. Like Naruto done. Like Naruto's a perfect example of somewhere with a big universe, loads of characters. And when they didn't, when they didn't want to progress the story every episode, instead of go somewhere else, see what everyone else is doing, they just give you crap, just straight crap.
Yeah.
When you can skip an episode and it doesn't affect the story at all, that for me, that's what you call filler. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think Bleach was the worst for that, because at least with Naruto stuff, they at least tried to make it, they just changed it to a lighthearted anime where it was funny for a bit. But Bleach's fillers was like, why are you doing this? They've made a whole new arc that's filler. And so none of this is canon. There's no, in that kind of time, you always want to see new abilities. There's no new abilities. You had the same old ones before. The enemies are just unmemorable. It was like I remember there was like some weird
Was this the vampire
arc after
anyway,
the Soul
you know what?
Society.
I'm one of the very few people who enjoyed that arc.
Oh, I hated it so much. I was like, who are these waste men? Why are you wasting my time? It's so boring. The weapons are rubbish. Like, because in Bleach, everyone has cool weapon, cool abilities. Even if they're side characters, it's got, one guy, if he slashes you, and whatever part that he hits, or if he hits your weapon, it doubles in weight. He's not a very good character. That's a very interesting, and as a swordsman, that's a very broken power to have. But there's just some of these abilities, just like, that was terrible. Like, I don't want to see any of this. You wasted my time. Just go back to school and be funny, because their school times were actually funny.
Yeah,
The filler they showed was just make a movie. Just stop airing or something, please. It was. I really hated that arc. I hated it so.
I tell you there was a point when I dropped Naruto because I was watching an episode, and then I was like, cool. It was really heated. The next episode was a flashback, and I was like, oh fuck, not again.
Oh, Naruto loved flashbacks. I
was like,
oh my god,
cool, whatever. I'll watch it. And then the next episode was a flashback of the last flashback. I couldn't believe it. I dropped it for 6 months after that. I couldn't believe it.
Flashback.
It was because they were still in a flashback from the last episode, and then they flashed back to something else, and I was like,
flashback.
I was like, is no one seeing this? I was like, and I'm looking online. It's like, why is everyone okay with this? It's not okay.
I'm looking online to see it.
I'm like, why isn't everyone angry? What's going on?
Seriously, there isn't a show that Adrian talks more like fondly about. If it is like One Piece, that is your show, man.
All I'm saying is like, in case this airs and people are like, oh, maybe I'll give it a chance. Don't watch it yet. Wait for it to finish. Because
you've got 900 episodes, Adrian.
Listen. I know what it sounds like. You're gonna be like 900 episodes. I'm never gonna. You do, and you're gonna be pissed. You're gonna be like me every week waiting. It's horrible. I wish I had stopped.
Let's do the maths. What? 20-minute episodes, yeah?
Yeah, 20-minute episodes.
Well, call them like 15-minute episodes, really.
All right, fine. 15-minute episodes if you're not including like intro, outro, all that nonsense, the little break scenes. Times what?
928. 29 at the moment, yeah. 929.
Yeah. Is that backwards for you guys?
What's that? What's that? Minutes?
So that's minutes. So let's turn that into days, please. Days or hours. Either one.
Okay, let me Google it.
So divided. I'm not vocalizing what I'm doing, just in case anyone realizes how terrible at maths I am.
I just Googled. Oh, hold on.
Yeah, I mean, you have the calculator in front of you.
Roughly even.
Either way, it's just mad.
It's just because it's very difficult to stop once you start. It's very difficult because it starts off. You're like, okay, this is happening, that's happening, cool, and then a character will come on screen, talk about something, and disappear. You're like, wait, what are you talking about? I tell you, there was a character called Doflamingo. Now he's introduced in like the first maybe like 10 episodes, but no one knows what his power is, and you don't know his power for like 600-700 episodes in.
Wow.
You don't know what he does. Everyone just knows that when he comes on screen, you're like, fuck, don't move, don't do nothing, because if he has your eye on you, that's it, it's over. And when you find out, and people were speculating for years, like, what's his power? I don't get it. And when you find out, you're like, that makes sense, but how did I not see that comment? It's just so well done. It's thought through. I love it. It's thought through. When it finishes, I can't wait to watch it with my kids, honestly. I can't wait.
Stevie, what number did you get? I converted it to hours.
I just stopped right there. I just left it at 13,900 minutes. And then
yeah, so I put that into hours. It's roughly like 240 hours, which is 10 days.
I got more than enough time.
That's 10 full days.
That's That's straight.
10
Hey,
full,
stop.
10 full days.
I
That's
watched the
back to
first
back.
2 seasons of Attack on Titans without moving. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, but Attack on Titan's different anime. That's different. That's different source,
I've got
man.
time. I've got
The
time.
pacing on Attack on Titan is
Yeah,
much different. It is much different, absolutely.
it's much better. Like
Yeah.
there's even the place where it does calm down. There's still something going on that's making your brain like, okay, I'm still invested in this. Like the whole. Do you want to say too much? Because it's a bit of a recent anime. I don't want to say too much, but yeah, there's parts of it where it seems to have died down a bit, but there's still something going on.
Oh, the juicy story you get, with the second season, beautiful, absolutely beautiful.
Martin, are you caught up on it?
Up to date.
Yeah.
I'm not, so please don't. Thanks.
How can you not be up to date?
No, we won't say anything.
Because I've been gaming my ass off.
I'll give you that.
I won't give her that. What do you mean, give her that?
I
What
don't
do you
give a
mean?
fuck what you give me.
All this time, you're not up to date. Oh, man.
Well, I'm not up to date with My Hero Academia because they're off points for me.
Well, you're also trash as well, to be honest.
Nah,
Look,
You're just as bad, man. You're just as bad.
Look,
How?
because I don't care about what their bedrooms look like or what they're gonna do for their summer. What's it called? Their summer festival. I don't care.
It means something.
It doesn't
It
mean
means something. There's story behind it, man.
You know what?
Yeah.
The story that's behind it cannot be. It can't be as meaningful as.
Obviously, it's not as good as what happened with you know who.
Yeah, but that just happened. You know what I mean? So for me, actually, My Hero is a good example of after the big fights, it doesn't dip too low.
For me, it does. For me, it plummets.
It dips. Yeah.
For me, it's a plummet. It
Plummet.
I don't care about anything that's going on in your lives. Like, literally, just get back on the field and fight. That's all I want to see. Like, okay, after they... Okay, I'm not going to say what, but then they finish a fight. Then they're back in the dorms. And they're just suddenly like, you know what? Let's have a tour of everyone's bedroom. I do not care. This is not fun. It's not interesting.
Yeah, but we just finished the big fight. You have to have a look. You can't just...
No, the thing is, there's ways to do that because Demon Slayer is hilarious. So when they're not fighting, it's still very good to watch. I'm still enjoying myself because...
Yeah, it's different comedy level.
Hilarious. You know, the interaction they have is funny. With My Hero Academia, it's like either the main character's crying about something or I want to get stronger or it's just like
yeah, I mean, I'm not. Yeah,
I'm just saying. Okay, it's not that bad. I'm over exaggerating, but for me, it drops a bit when it's not in crisis mode. Whereas even stuff like Hitman Reborn, where that is a very mid-tier anime. Like it's entertaining, but when they're on the it's still pretty good.
Bell. Yeah.
What was that, Cass?
Sorry.
So boring you? Uh-huh.
No, I was in the middle of something.
Martin, you're mute.
Boring me. Yes.
Martin's been playing games for the longest of time.
Yeah, like the minute I heard anime talk, I was like, yep, back to F1. So,
F1.
I just zone out and listen to I don't know shit, mate.
Yeah, once we start Adrian on One Piece, it's hard to stop him.
Yeah, listen, I also heard One Piece. I saw Adrian do that.
Yeah, and then Martin was like,
you know he's about to
all you hear is the beep from the PS4.
So good, man, so good. I mean, we won't talk anime anymore because you can't participate, but there's lots of...
I watch One Piece, but every time I'm told...
No, I can give you lots of good anime to watch. Don't watch One Piece yet.
You know what,
actually? Then jump on.
I just started watching an anime on Netflix called Erased.
Okay.
Erased. I know the name.
About this guy that gets revival. So Erased, he gets this thing called revival, and it basically. So, say you're just going to the shop. He basically gets deja vu, and he's going to the shop, and he'll see this situation, and then he'll get this thing he calls revival, where he starts to then look around and tries to figure out what is odd about this situation. Like
yes, Erased.
Oh, that sounds cool.
Yeah,
I'm a couple episodes in. I'm on episode 4 now.
I'm trying to bring it up so I can, and I need to visually see the picture so I can bring back. I've seen so many.
I'm on episode 4, and I feel like at the end of this anime, I'm gonna be really angry. Like I can feel it coming. There's certain animes you can feel like you start to get halfway and you're like, I know I'm gonna be mad. Like
Erased was good. Erased was good.
I've added it to my list. It's on Netflix.
Yeah, I already know I'm gonna be mad.
It's short as well. It's very
It's
short.
only one season, isn't it?
Well.
Yeah,
it's
one
very short.
season right now.
Okay. Yeah, there's 12 episodes.
That was clever. To be honest, clever.
I know I'm gonna be mad. I'm at the point where I've started like noticing things, and I'm like, okay, yeah. So
when you watch Mob Psycho 100, if you were looking for something to watch, it's hilarious.
Yeah, you mentioned that to me quite a long time ago. It's been always been on my list. I need to watch it.
It's got everything that's good about an anime.
It's made by the same guys that made One Punch, isn't it?
Yeah.
What anime?
Mob Psycho 100.
Okay. Oh yeah, my friend talks about that a lot. Yeah.
It's funny. It's got the feels. The animation's so good.
Have you guys watched the anime Kakaguri?
It's
on Netflix.
My Netflix keeps throwing it in my face, but I haven't watched it yet.
It's actually really good, Tubi. It's actually very good. I enjoyed it so much. Kakaguri. Kakeguiri, I think. Something along those lines.
So my phone's definitely listening to this conversation.
Oh,
about the gambling school.
The gambling
crazy girl.
It's got a live adaptation as well, actually.
Was it?
Yeah, I need to watch that. I wanted to watch it to see what it was like.
I don't think I finished it. I did watch it. It was a good concept. It didn't grip me, but it probably is quite good for a lot of people.
I actually enjoyed it, to be fair. I think it was more the main character than anything else based around it, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Did anyone ever watch Parasite? The anime Parasite?
What, the Maxims?
Of course.
Oh, I don't know. Yeah, Parasite. I think I watched that.
Maximum was the second season? Was it?
Yeah, I don't know, to be fair. But I know
is it that anime where it's basically the Tokyo Ghoul situation?
Basically, yeah.
You guys told me to watch that. Yeah, that one was another slowish start, but then I was like, okay, now
when it picks up though, it picks up
so much. And also, I'm actually scared in the anime because the enemies that you go up against is just like, how are you going to beat this thing? This is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Have you watched Ganso?
No, my brother has though. That's a movie, isn't it?
Do you know what? When I put it on, I watched it on a Netflix party actually. So I watched it with Alex, my friend Alex. And when I put it on, like, we was watching it, and we were like, I can't tell if this is an anime or this is a film or like the graphics. I was like, I can't tell the difference right now. Is it a real life film, like an adaptation type of film, or is it an anime? Like, it was so confusing. Because it wasn't the anime per se, it was like the film, but it still looked to some extent that it was like real people that were acting, but at the same time it still looked very kind of cartoony. It was really weird.
Oh yeah,
that was really good.
I love that stuff. It reminds me of Love, Death and Robots. Like some of the animation that was amazing.
Yeah, it was just so strange, but
I'm
it was
surprised
really
they haven't had another season yet.
They were supposed to, but it must have been delayed because I remember hearing about a second season for that.
Because that it went viral when it came out, so I'm surprised they should have gone out as soon as possible.
Because it's so easy to watch. You watch the first one, that was interesting, but obviously you never get the story carrying on. But some episodes are 5 minutes.
Yeah, they're short.
Wow.
So, they probably have like a line of animation studios being like, yeah, listen, we got content. They probably have content that's been flowing at them. It shouldn't be that hard. They should be popping this out really often. But and I understand it's not that easy. It's not as easy as it sounds. But at the same time, compare it to other shows that the time that you should be waiting in between seasons should be short in comparison to bigger budget shows because they're spreading the work over many different people.
Because I can imagine, unless they've got really talented designers who do lots of different types of animation, they've got to do every episode.
Sorry.
Guys, what was that, man?
Sorry, I was just laughing at something that happened. It was so funny. Sorry.
Oh man.
But
But yeah,
Anything else?
I think it kind of shows how much we like anime if we can talk that long about it.
So I can talk anime. I have about 7 or 8 years worth of anime that I have not talked to anyone about, so I could do it all day.
Well,
There's still a bunch of Asian. You're gonna get pissed off. There's still a bunch of things I still need to finish up that you told me to finish. I did start them though, so I need some credit. So
What have you finished? Actually, you know what? Let's change the topic because we've been talking about anime for time now.
True.
We've been talking about
Let's
anime.
get Martin back involved.
Let's get Martin back involved.
I'm still here. I'm enjoying listening and seeing how excited you guys get over these conversations. I mean,
Martin, the way you can binge shows, man, I could just throw these at you. Hadn't done in a day, like day.
Yeah, Martin.
Day.
You watch shows that are full on commitment.
Yeah, you watch everything, man.
I hardly watch shows as much now, to be fair.
What, loads of Football Manager and FIFA and F1?
I haven't played Football Manager in so long.
I can't believe it.
What?
Wow.
That was your game, man.
Coronavirus is really hitting.
Are you feeling okay?
Yeah, you're right, Martin.
No, man. Like, I think it's because there's no football. Like, I don't see why. I'm just not excited to do anything that's because.
Well, how did you feel about the match the other day? Did you watch it?
No, because it's not Arsenal. It's not the Prem. I don't care.
No, but it's better than nothing.
It's true.
So have they actually started things up yet? Because I remember obviously that was affecting my work quite a bit. The fact that
in Germany.
But in Germany.
In Germany. Yeah.
Oh, okay. But it's all behind closed doors and everything.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. The situation everywhere in Europe just seems to be a lot better than it is in London by far. Like,
that's not surprising.
I was about to say, I'm not surprised.
They haven't had any sort of like proper lockdown. It's been a social distancing early.
My friend in Amsterdam, they came out of lockdown a couple of weeks ago, and they were allowed to go out and visit people. Just no big gatherings in places, which should have been us, but we started 2 weeks late. So what can you do?
You want to know the craziest thing about it is Sweden. Was it Sweden?
I was literally just about to say Sweden.
Didn't do a lockdown at all, but are still doing much better than us.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah, it's because as a culture, they're more socially distant with each other. They don't have like pubs and like massive metros or the underground like we do. Most of them like bike to work and like
it's true. It's a lifestyle.
Environment. Yeah, it suits their lifestyle more than like the English one. Yeah. Or like in Asia where everything's really compact.
But even the countries in Europe that had huge peaks, they have significantly gone down.
Yeah.
So it's just like, what did we really do wrong, honestly?
Well, we did a lot of things wrong, to be fair. We started late and then we didn't lock down properly. So it's kind of like, you didn't really do it in the first, it was half-assed in every respect. So when we are now like second or third in the world after you adjust for population in terms of the amount of deaths we can have, and obviously when it comes to deaths, it's very very hard number to pinpoint.
And it's hard to say who actually died from.
Yeah, you can manipulate that in 100 ways, but even with you can assume that a percentage of deaths are not reported anyway. But that's not happening to everyone. Everyone's doing that, and we're still this high. It just shows that we're just a joke, man. Just a joke of a country. And
a lot of people are saying that we're like, as a country, we might be more honest with the numbers that we're publishing. So we might be more honest with the amount of people that we're saying that have died from it or have like contracted it. And then like when you come to other like, countries like in Asia, they'll be like, oh, like how true is that information and all that.
I don't believe that for a second. We are just.
I feel like that's what America was saying because obviously when they just skyrocketed.
Oh my gosh, the amount of people that are like on the streets.
Hey, they were done for from the beginning, bro. They were absolutely done out here from the beginning. We knew they were not going to listen. Let's be honest.
Real numbers for a few years. I think it might be even 20, 30 years in a history lesson where they finally got all the shit done for real. It's just shown how, as a whole world, like everyone's dumb.
It made me think about. It made me think that I used to always think, if there was ever like an alien invasion or there was like a big pandemic across the entire world, things would be a bit rocky at start. But everyone would be like, okay, listen,
Band
together because we're gonna all die. And this has been shown that if anything affects us globally, we still act exactly the same.
Yep.
And it's very disappointing, man. It's very disappointing.
I just can't believe people like on the streets that are protesting, like
that's
they don't believe it's real.
It's
They don't
crazy.
believe it's real,
It's crazy.
and they're saying like, "Oh, it's the government trying to take control of our
It's
freedom."
5G
Like,
and freedom of rights and all of this.
Listen,
doesn't make
not
sense.
like ignoring it straight out. I get that. You're like, I don't care. I'm gonna do my own thing. I get that, but protesting it, I was like, don't you have anything better to do?
Oh my gosh, man! Like I think it started. The story started off in America where they were out in the streets and there was like all of them saying, "It's my own right. If I want to get it, let me get it." And then it was like in England, and I see people like saying it's like
sounds quite about right.
Yeah.
What, Kathy? What?
I said it sounds quite about right.
Oh.
Why wouldn't
Yeah,
it
that's
be?
usually how it is. I think that's literally where the 5G thing started as well. It's quite not big, but obviously it's a thing in the UK now, and it was from some American part.
It's just crazy.
Like I'm the same polarization on that one. Because obviously everyone's response to it is a bit different. Because obviously a lot of people have this mindset, well, it's just like any other illness. If I get it, I get it. Yeah. If I don't, I don't. Which in one way, I mean, that makes sense. You can avoid it, which is what most people try.
It's not really avoidable though. That's the thing. Because it's not going to go anywhere for a long time. And with the amount of people that are mostly asymptomatic, you're due to, if you catch it, you catch it. Like there's actually nothing you can do. No one is going to be able to sit in their house for a whole entire year and do nothing. Do you know what I mean? It's just not going to work like that because people still need to get shopping. And the fact that it can be on your parcels, it can be on anything, and you wouldn't even know.
It's just the protesting, which is what's wild. It's like it's not real. Like no one's the amount of people that say, "Oh, it's a conspiracy theory." Who's benefiting from this conspiracy theory? Because there's usually somebody on the other end.
You know who is? Jeff Bezos.
No one is benefiting from this.
It's true, isn't it?
I mean, I'm saving a lot of money because I don't have to pay for any TFL stuff, and they just messaged me again saying, "Oh, we got your refund wrong. We need to send you a bit more money." So I was like, "Cool."
Hey, yo,
keep sending me it. Yeah.
Man,
when are you going back to work, Daniel? Or...
My office was starting to mention, we've got a team in the office now. It's probably just HR, but they just want to rename themselves. Saying they're planning the return to the office. So they sent about a bunch of surveys saying who can come in now. And I was like, I really wouldn't mind coming in. If I walked to work, I really wouldn't care. Because then HR has been keeping on tabs on who's going where. And I think at that point, if you really worked in the office, they probably want you to have the test by that point. But I was like, even if I did go back to work, I would have to get on the tube. So it's a big no from me. So I think they were trying to figure stuff out. But then after the last update we had from Boris,
Bojo. Yeah. My guy, Bojo.
Yeah.
Jojo.
Yeah, it's just it's. I don't think it's happening anytime soon, but my office is thinking about it. Because
the joys of being able to possibly work from home. Do you find it like do you find that you're more productive?
I am.
Because some people are actually being way more productive at home, strangely enough, than others.
I'm not. Like everyone's been saying, I'm so much more productive. It's like I am not. I need to be in the mind space in my studio. And the fact for us, like I really like being able to just literally turn around, roll my chair over to a table over there, and do some drawings with someone, and then get back to my desk. Now, any tiny meeting has to be a Zoom meeting or a Microsoft Teams meeting, and it's just like,
it's long, isn't it?
Be able to just go to someone's desk and just say, "Hey, do this, bye." Now it's all like, "Oh, hey, how's your morning going? What have you been doing? Have you been keeping sane over this thing? Just tell me what I need to do." And we can get on with our day. It's like everything turns into another meeting.
You're doing way more small talk.
I was thinking that I watched a really cool video about the different ways that this pandemic has affected business and life in general. And obviously one of those ones is obviously transportation, that a lot less people are traveling. And there are now a lot of empty like offices and stuff everywhere. But a lot of businesses, there's obviously been dips in productivity because no one was really prepared to work from home long term. But I feel like there could be like a happy medium here where you could like maybe work at the office like 3-4 days a week and then work from home the other time if you're properly prepared to do it, which could then lead to, you know, companies needing smaller offices, less people traveling to
I
work,
was literally about
reducing
to say,
transportation. There's so many advantages that could be done if you set up a proper system from working from home. Are we going to do that? No. No, we
yeah,
won't
because
do that.
I was literally about to say,
It's
there's
nothing to
I
think
like
about,
how
though.
Adrian said, like, this could be the new thing, but no one's going to do it. I feel
there's
like
going to be a
I feel
lot
like some
of
companies will do it.
businesses that
Some
don't need
companies will
offices
do it.
right now.
Yeah, 100%. That's what I'm saying. You're like, imagine, because the way I like
It'll
to always
save them
think
so much
about
money.
things is, does this save the company money? If it does, then they'll do it. If it doesn't, then they won't do it. So I think about rent, which is like one of the biggest, like not one of the biggest, but it's a big outgoing for any company that has an office anywhere. That's something they have to pay for. So imagine now you then have to now pay rent on an office that's half the size because you stagger your team coming into work. So you have 100 employees, Monday to Wednesday, you know, you only have like this 40% here come in, and the next one is another 40%. I mean, it just cuts down on so many costs for everyone. But one of the big problems about that won't work in this country is just because our internet infrastructure is just too lagging behind to support something like that properly. And that's
the country, when he was talking about, oh, if you can work from home, do it, and if you can't, don't. I can't remember what he said because it was just so weird. But I remember just me and my brother was just sitting there thinking, that's never going to happen because this city is not priced for that. Like, think about Tower Hamlets. If you work there, you're super rich. If you live there, apparently you're super poor. There's so many situations, very few people work where they live or anywhere around where they live. Like, I used to live in Dagenham. I used to work in southwest London.
Oh my god! Yeah, I remember that.
How long was your commute, GB?
An hour and a half minimum.
Yeah, flip, man.
And if some dickhead decided he wanted to run into the doors at East Ham, which always happens, they'll be longer. And literally, the amount of times there is like, please mind for the doors, please mind the doors. Why? The district line is quite regular. If you miss one, it's really not that deep. Just get out of the door. Oh gosh, I'm so glad I'm not in this stupid line anymore. Oh
man, the way that people would like fight to get onto the central line, like there isn't 3 trains lined up behind this train. Like the time it takes the train to leave the platform, the other one is on its way onto the platform.
You can walk to the other end of the platform and have the new train right there in front of you.
The train is waiting in the tunnel to get in, but you're like, no, I gotta get on this train. What, to save yourself? What? Less than 30 seconds, probably not 20 seconds.
Yeah, it can't be longer than the minute.
Come on.
Yeah, well, some people, oh man, I think especially in London, they just love that fast-paced lifestyle. Like they need to be there now, kind of thing. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I might ride to work one of these days to see how long it'll take me. And then.
Do you work at the Excel or near there?
In bank.
All right.
It shouldn't take that long,
actually.
No.
Yeah.
It'll take me like
it shouldn't take that
25 minutes.
Yeah, that's calm.
So if I can do it, I'll do it. But I don't know. I probably won't.
Yeah, I bought Kai a bike. She can ride her bike to school. I walk, and that's about it. I mean, I had an interview yesterday. I'll find out tomorrow if I get it. But then again, it's for a virtual assistant, so I'll be at home, like always, working from home.
A lot of companies didn't have the protocols and that set in place. Like I remember at my job, when people were asking about working from home and all that, they were like, "No, we don't do it. We don't do it. We don't do it." This happened. Now everyone's
funny. A lot of places actually do it, but they don't want people to do it.
Yeah,
that's what it is.
They're not prepared, or they don't want to put the resource to it. Because my company, because people have to travel for work a lot anyways, they were in a position to make everyone do it. I think we needed like 2 weeks to actually get it all up and running for everyone. Because so I have a PC at home, so I need to get some laptops for people. But it was that was quite impressed with the way they sorted things out. It's like 2 weeks earlier. They're like asking everyone what they got at home.
After this period, there are going to be so many jobs opening up regarding. Yeah.
What was that, Mike?
Home working is the way forward. Oh, you're into
I mean, I've worked from home for a really
home
long
working
time,
is the way forward.
regardless. So, like, for me, it's neither here nor there.
I personally can't wait.
Virtual assistant's always been a thing. So,
No,
it's just more places will start doing them.
I just miss the social side of going to the office as well. Like,
That's what I'm saying to my colleagues.
Such a joke. Like, we go go to the pub at lunch and just never go back to the office. It was so funny. That last week before we went to Spain. No, before we broke up for Christmas. It was actually dumb.
How long have you been at this company now? How long have you been at this company now?
A year and a half. Because I spent 6 months as a contractor and then became fully employed. So yeah, a year and a half. Because I became fully employed in May 2019. And then before that, 6 months before that, I was a contractor. I was doing that all self-employed stuff, which was long. Glad that's over.
I'm glad that's over.
You do make this not significant. You do make more money, a noticeable amount more money. But obviously, there's no benefits, no holidays. If you're sick, it's peak.
Yeah. So it kind of balances out itself out.
I think I just closed off all the business account and everything. It's been struck off by a company's house. Now it's finally all over. When I was in the middle of it was fine, but then just getting rid of it all was long. Like, having an accountant is right when you have a good one. I think they switched my accountant midway, and this person was like useless. I got an email saying, "Oh, you're supposed to fill out this survey or whatever, and you're 3 months late." I was like, "What do you mean 3 months late? I've never seen this letter in my life." And that's so I sent an email to the accountants. It's like, "Oh yeah," and then they sent me a scan of this letter that they got 3 months ago. I was like, why has no one told me about this? And obviously, they're not liable for anything to go super wrong. So you just have to listen to what they say, because if anything goes to hell, HMRC's just taking your money, and it's like, doesn't matter about the accountants. It's your company, so yeah.
Yeah, makes sense.
But yeah, glad that's over. But there was a nice bit of spare money in this bank account after that. But yeah, not doing it again.
Oh, Cass is moving an angle. What have you just seen, Adrian?
No, the new angle that Cassie's phone is at.
What? Goodness.
Just a new angle.
I just saw Adrian's eyes light up.
I have a headache.
I'm starving.
Yeah. Shall we wrap it up?
No.
Wrap it.
Wrap it up.
Do we do a goodbye song and dance?
Goodbye, good friends, goodbye.
Time to say goodbye.
Look at Adrian's face.
Where's that from?
Everything good must end. All right, let me put them.